Okay, thank you for the great introduction there, Dan. First of all, my name is Adam Urban. I am from the team here at Wall Street Winning. I'm going to be doing a little presentation today to explain to you a little bit about who I am, who my team is, who my friends are, and how exactly we can help you. So more of what I'm going to have. Hopefully it's not going to bore you to death. It's going to be a little bit entertaining for you. I do have some videos coming right up. These are for some friends and mentors of mine. I think they give a lot of valuable information that basically I would be repeating to you. So it's better to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So I'm going to start with a little video. After the video, we'll go right into the presentation.
When you get to $1 million, you're like, oh, that's nothing. It wasn't a celebration, it was a realization. That's no money. Millionaire is the new middle class. Millionaire status today is the middle class of the 1960s. When you get $1 million today, you're going to realize, oh, I got about 4 or 5 years of money. Now, I know some of you think, oh, I can live forever on that. You're wrong. You just hadn't done the math yet. When you start making it, you're just going to want to start making more. It's not about greed. It's about help. Because all of a sudden you realize, wow, I could help my church. I could help the local school. I could help my kids more. I could help my mom now. It requires you to do things that are uncomfortable. It requires you to meet people that maybe you don't feel like meeting. It requires you to go into environments that are not familiar to you. You have to extrovert even when you might feel like introvert. I say, go get rich. Go help a bunch of people. And when you get rich, go get richer.
The disproportional reason so many people in here will not win, let's just get right to the chase. The disproportionate reason that most people in this room will not win is actually not the hard work, which is what I'm going to talk about probably for the next 45 minutes. It's your lack of patience.
But while you're preparing, there's opportunity that's happening because, first of all, every bear market lasts on average a year. Goes down 33%, but you don't lose 33 unless you sell it. Here's the one thing I want people to hear. In 2 centuries of American business, every single bear market was followed by a bull market. So you remember 2008, people lost 50%?
Yes,
you went up 69% when it was
Buffett is it's such a great concept. I believe in it so much, which is, unless you're betting on America disappearing, you win.
For centuries.
That's it.
And we're going to keep growing. And by the way, every month on average we have a new high. So when you hear it's high, oh my God, it's going to crash, it's high. But let me give you one more. This is the time. This will maybe the payoff for you. Payoff is, I just did the JP Morgan Alternative Investments Conference in Miami. You have to be a billionaire to attend. You have to prove it with your net worth. There's 400 people there. It's amazing group. JP Morgan did a 20-year study, Schwab did one also separate. They found in the last 20 years, the S&P 500 gave you an 8.2% return. So you double your money every 9 years. Pretty cool thing. But what they found was, if you were out of the market on the 10 best trading days in 20 years, instead of 8.2, you got 4.5, almost half as much money. If you miss the top 20 days, trading days in 20 years, 1 day a year, you're trying to be the right one. You got a 2% return. You might as well bet bonds. If you miss the top 30 days, you lose money.
Makes a ton of sense.
In 20 years. So the most difficult, the dumbest thing you can do is be on the market lot. The dumbest thing you can do is be on the market lot. You do is be on the market lot. The dumbest thing you can do is be on the market lot. You just
I get it.
Because you're in the market.
I'm plenty in the market.
Plenty in the market. And then also being prepared. What matters is the system you put in place. Should you do randomly every now and then because you got money? No. What matters is the system. What matters is the system you put in place.
It's not.
Okay, guys, so hopefully that shed a little light. That, to me, is probably the single most value that I could provide anybody, is to realize that $1 million is not very much money. So there's probably those of you sitting around with 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000. A, you got to get to work saving, and B, you have to get on a system. So you heard from Grant Cardone, you heard from Gary Vaynerchuk, and you heard from Tony Robbins, all of which I think are brilliant individuals who basically say the same things, which is The money that you think you have is not enough. You need more. You need a system, and you need to be in the markets. So our philosophy here at Wall Street Winning is pretty simple, and it is one that it's not how much money. Well, let me explain real quick. 1 second. Okay, so it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for, right? So this is the number one rule here at Wall Street Winning. It's our motto, it's our philosophy. It's what we're trying to do for you. And there's a lot of people out there, you know, our philosophy is a little arrogant above that, which is wallstreetwinning.com. We make rich people richer. We're not to say that you have to have $1 million or $10 million or $20 million or $100 million to be rich. In our mind, being rich is getting started, having the patience enough to save, you know, to start saving and working towards your retirement, working towards investing. To me, and to our company, that's what a rich person is. So again, we make rich people richer. That's our number one philosophy in who we are, and we believe that everybody today that's attending, just by attending, you're a rich person. We consider you rich because you're making the effort to actually change your life, to learn something more, and make an impact on the future of your investing success. So before I begin, I want to tell you a bit about my story. As I was introduced, my name is Adam Urban. That is me. And I'm not here to tell you that I'm a perfect person, or that I have the perfect investment technology or strategy for everyone, or that I have a perfect life. I'm just here to show you a bit about me, the company, and how we can help you and how you can benefit. Okay, so a little bit more about me. I grew up in the Rust Belt. I started my first business at the age of 5 selling lemonade. It was then I had my first real job at 14, where I went from a busboy to a prep cook to a line chef at a Mexican restaurant, and that was at 14, right? Of course, I told them I was a little bit older than I was. I had a nice little beard growing, so I could get away with it. And I just did the work, and I kept getting promoted. So after the restaurant business, I decided that I wanted to start a business of my own. I got into the horticulture business, also called the landscaping business. I had 2 trucks of my own at the age of 16 years old. And my parents forced me to sell it to go to college. So this was my first big learning experience. I was thinking to myself, you know, did I just sell a profitable company to learn entrepreneurship? It's pretty crazy, right? So I slowly realized that I may have made a mistake. When I was studying entrepreneurship at university, I asked all my professors if they were millionaires, and they all said no. Not one of them was a millionaire. So I knew right then and there that this was not the place for me, that I had made a mistake, and I wanted to learn from millionaires. But in college, I also unfortunately learned some awful habits. I don't know, you know, it took my life down a downward spiral. I was drinking too much and spending too much time at the bar just because I wasn't engaged with the right people and being around whatever excuse I wanted to make. But being an entrepreneur, I decided to go into that business. I was young and dumb, and you know, this is where I learned another valuable lesson. Be careful who you take advice from and associate with. It's well known that in the bar business, you won't find much good at the end of the bottle, right? So I was drinking too much, and I was around the wrong people, and it got me in trouble. And sure, I was associating with some millionaires, but they weren't the right kind of millionaires. They were mostly the drunk kind of millionaires, and the worst kind. So around that same time, when I was in the bar business in the late 1990s, my parents lost half of their retirement savings in the dot-com crash to Merrill Lynch. May sound familiar to some of you. But what was most, you know, unbelievable to me was that the broker took a commission. He actually got paid for losing their money. And, you know, as time went on, you know, I knew that my life in the bar business needed to change. So I had an opportunity to go to Russia, and I got on a plane September 15th, 2001. And yes, that was 4 days after the Twin Towers. It was supposed to be a short 3-week business trip, and it turned to a 10-year spiritual journey to find myself and God. Now, I'm not here to preach to you, but I did accomplish both. And both of those, finding myself and finding God led me to a new path of technology. So my first venture into technology was in the TV business. So a friend of mine I met while living in Russia was the founder of the E channel. So does anybody know, the E channel? I'm sure you've probably heard of it. It's the home of the Kardashians, right? Well, he wanted me to create a show for him, and I did that. I actually patented the system method. So I basically patented payola. You can always Google payola if you don't get what that is. So, Fox and News Corp, Fox News Corp, it's the same company. They tried to buy my show, but I decided to merge with the team that created the show Big Brother. They were a Dutch company, and they just sold out for $5.5 billion to Telefonica, and they were offering me a great VC deal through their capital investment arm. I even had my own show on MTV. But still, the problem was I was depending on undependable people, okay? So in 2008, 2009, there was the crash, and like most people who were in business, in the markets, in real estate, wherever you were, we needed more money, but the money had stopped, the money had run out, and our show was canceled. So I had to close my offices in India and the Netherlands, and I had to lay off over 60 people that were working for me. I had lived 3 years in Russia, 3 years in East Germany, and 3 years in the Netherlands. And at the same time, I was going back and forth between India, and then I lived for a year in the Czech Republic. But during that time, I still didn't find my financial breakthrough that I was looking for. So I'd gotten my spiritual life in order. My family life was great. I have 4 amazing kids. 3 of them are pictured here, and our former dog. And anyone that's seen my 6'1" supermodel wife will agree that I definitely got that right. So, things were going great. I'd made many investments in startup businesses. I'd learned a lot and lost a lot. The only thing that remained constant as I continued to work with what was my main tech developer, Jan Willem, and he's a real genius. I mean, a real genius. And I've been working with JW and my tech team now. Winning Technology is the name of our technology company that actually powers Wall Street Winning for over 15 years. So after the TV business, we went into the security business for a while, building algorithms and advanced cloud-based operations. And the problem there was that no CEOs wanted to buy security unless they had a major problem. So sales were pretty low. The product was great, but the sales were low. So I was selling software to make ends meet, but I wasn't happy, and I still hadn't found, my mission in life and that financial breakthrough that I needed. I knew that I liked to help people. I liked to solve problems, but it wasn't clicking until shortly into the security venture, I met Wade Keller in the JW Marriott sauna here in Florida, where we live, in Marco Island, Florida. And he is Ron Groenke's publisher of his 5 books on options investing. So if you don't know Ron Groenke, he will tell his story soon. He's going to be in the presentation as well. So anyways, Mr. Keller told me that Ron had a golden goose, so to speak. It was a black box for the stock market, but it was a bit outdated, and, it was a PC-based software and needed to be put into the cloud. So I met with Ron, and they asked me to give them a proposal to move their system to the cloud and supercharge it, basically just to make it run much faster and better. So I gave them a proposal. It was over $1 million. This didn't surprise them. It was a very complex, all the algorithms and formulas that need to be put into place. And they'd gotten proposals from other firms for even more money. So they explained to me that, they were older and semi-retired, and they just wouldn't have the time to put into the company. So like so many other customers before, they tried to convince me that their idea was so great, that I should build it for a profit share and run it, right? So I can't even tell you how many customers tried to do that. But as I said, I was intrigued because I had seen my parents lose half of their savings in the dot-com crash. And I always knew somewhere down deep that the stock market would be where I found my fortune. And I also knew that 80% of millionaires each year are created from the stock market, not from entrepreneurship that I was studying. But, you know, I had a family to think about. You saw my family, my kids and my beautiful wife. So as a test, I said to Ron, Ron, if you can get your existing customers, because you've been selling the software for over 10 years, the PC version, to invest half the money, JW and I we would contribute the rest. So a few emails later, we had all the money we needed. And we even had to turn investors away at a certain point. So I agreed to design the platform, create the products now available at wallstreetwinning.com. And JW and the tech team would do all the advanced coding and put all the algorithms into play and do all the heavy lifting on the technical side. So as I told you before, in my past, I had made many mistakes. Okay, I learned from them, and I do my level best to never make them twice. You know, I took bad advice from people that got me into trouble. So when designing the system, it had to be something that was completely automated and run by computers without human advice. You know, I didn't want this to be, you know, a tip or you know, something that had to have a lot of human intervention. You know, the system needed to be a source that I could trust 100%. And what I trust, you know, 100% is data and mathematics, not human advice. So, you know, it also needed to be something so easy that even my mom and dad, my mom is a school teacher, a former school teacher, and my father was a General Motors employee, something so easy that they could use it, they could understand it, and they can make money with it. Because generally, a lot of these things that you hear, you know, maybe even today seem very complicated and very hard to use, that even kind of go over my head. So, you know, it needed also to be contract free and penalty free. And our company, which is Wall Street Winning and Winning Technology, needed to have a philosophy that we don't get paid unless the customer sees the results. So it also needed to be a 100% subscription based product. So it needed to be fast, reliable, and an advantage. So it would be an arsenal, so to speak, for the average investor. It needed more than anything to have results, because a lot of people ask you, Adam, what do you sell at Wall Street Winning? What is it? What's the product? What are you trying to pitch us on? Well, the only thing we sell at Wall Street Winning is results. So that's what we build here at Wall Street Winning. I mean, we've just built a platform designed to give you results. Okay, so there's two types of people in this world. There's those that work hard and then retire a year before they die, and those that figure out a way to retire early. So which one are you, and why are you here? Okay, so just put that in the questions or comments, because I really want to hear from you guys. You know, which one of those two are you, and why you're here. It's important to get a little information from you on who you are. So are you looking for a retirement solution? You know, if you're not, maybe you're looking for a passive source to make money. And who wouldn't want a passive source to make money, right? So I have a couple questions for you guys. Please feel free to put them in the chat box, in the question box, answer them into yourself. But really think hard about these questions, because they're very important, okay? So did anybody here lose money in the .com? Did anybody lose money in the .com? Okay. How about, did anybody lose money in the 08 housing bubble? Okay. Anybody? Yeah, I'm sure there's quite a few of you that did. And if you didn't, you were one of the lucky ones. But I know one person for sure that didn't lose money during either one of these, and that's Ron Groenke. So Ron Groenke is the founder of Wall Street Winning. He's the founder of all the algorithms. You can Google him and find his books on Amazon. He's been doing this for 25 years. He retired 25 years ago, and he's been making money, you know, income for life on nothing more than what we're going to show you today and what we're going to introduce you today. But a little bit more on that later. So another question for you. Do you guys think that it's ridiculous that your financial planner, for those of you who have a financial planner or a broker, you get paid even when you lose money. I mean, isn't it ridiculous that the guys that are supposed to be working for you to make you money, they get paid even if they lose your money? And and in that case, a lot of those guys, I mean, if you look at hedge funds, do a little Google search on hedge funds, they're performing it, worse than the S&P 500. So I'm sure that a lot of you guys are sick of losing money and would like to find a way to make income for life. So another question for you guys. Does anybody out there think that technology could provide an advantage to you in investing? I for sure do. So, and would anybody out there like to have a technological advantage over other investors? And anybody like an advantage? I mean, I like to have an advantage in everything I do. So, what if I told you that you could have a former NASA mathematician and all his formulas called algorithms working for you? Do you think having this advantage would increase your income results? Anybody? Put that in the comments, in the questions, because obviously, having a former NASA mathematician and his algorithms working for you, that would be one hell of an advantage, right? So at Wall Street Winning, we have 3 different algorithms. We have a monthly, a weekly, and an options algorithm that crunch over 8,000 stocks and ETFs, over 1 billion data points every single night, okay? So let me introduce you to the brains behind the operation, Ron Groenke, who actually is a former NASA mathematician.
Well, Adam, yeah, with the question, why do I want to help people? The basic thing is I've been very successful and fortunate. I've had a good career. I've been able to do a lot of things, and over time, I felt it's good to try to share that success. I've shared it with my children, with my grandchildren, and also now I'm able to share it with the average investor out there. I developed a number of concepts, formulas, used my mathematical ability to basically come out with something that allows you to go into the market, the stock market, and be very successful. There are ways that you can, in fact, accomplish your goals by taking a little time and understanding some of these opportunities.
Okay, now that you've seen and heard from Ron and how math and algorithms can help you, have you seen enough information to make a decision? Great. I have another question for you. Has your bank ever made you rich? Put that in the comments or the chat box there, but I'm 100% sure the answer is no, right? So, but I'm sure over the years you've seen the banks, especially the big banks that were too big to fail, get filthy rich, right? Of course, we all have. Now, the thing with the banks is they invest your money differently when they get it on deposit for themselves to use than the investment vehicles they try to sell you on. See, their goal is to make a profit, and a hefty one, on your money while giving you as little as possible. Interest rates from banks are an all-time low for this very reason. So, what they're doing is basically, taking your money on deposit, telling you to, go into a CD for 1% annually. And they're doing exactly what we're doing at Wall Street Winning, making 1% weekly, up to like 50% on that money and giving you a measly 1% in return. So, since we've shown you how having a NASA mathematician on your team could help your investing success, how do you think your investing success could improve if you had access to the exact strategies used by the banks to keep them getting richer? Would help from a banking insider, let's say, for example, a former Barclays banker, be an advantage for you? Would it be an advantage? Would you like it if that same banker was working for you? Now, do you think that would make your investments better? Well, let's hear from Chris Hood. Now, Chris Hood is a former Barclays banker who left the banking world to come and work for Wall Street Winning.
the opportunity, and welcome to everyone, and thank you for the chance to tell my story. So my background is banking. I've worked in pretty much every single industry, or every single sector of banking, from treasury through to operations to investment banking, through to product design to strategy to M&A. I've managed the back offices of hedge funds and private equity groups. I've been privy to seeing how banks make money. And when I look at how banks make money, and I look at the way in which banks advertise and market their products, there's a complete dissonance between the two strategies. What they sell you and what they tell you to do is completely the opposite to what they actually do behind the scenes. So a number of private equity exposures that I've had around the world, in North America, China, together with most countries in Asia where I've lived, I've noticed that a lot of times the proprietary trading techniques that banks use on their clients' capital, so when the client actually deposits money into the banks actually use this money in their proprietary trading book, and they do pretty much whatever we do here in Wall Street Winning. So, you know, it's selling options, it's the high probability, high profit trades. But if you walk into a bank and you actually say to them, look, I'm keen to learn how to do options, the first thing they're going to do is, well, why don't you buy one? And that's where it's all just a little bit disingenuous, because the banks never buy options. They're the ones creating the liquidity in the market for you on the buy side through selling. So it's through that leverage, leveraging that understanding, that I actually learned to apply it into my own book. Because when you go to university and you study option trading, it's 90% buying options, 10% selling. So the whole education system was designed to get you out of the educational system and into the trading side, so that the banks can actually use you for their own market making. So, you know, I'm probably simplifying it a lot, but by understanding how the banks make money and applying it into your own economy, you can create huge velocity. And the whole key to success is being able to churn your money as frequently as possible through your account. And option selling is the most predictable, it's the most certain, it's the most guaranteed, and it's the most short-term way of generating short-term profits in a certain way. So if you look at just the general trend, people will go into a bank, they'll invest money, but there'll be no certainty of the upside. And, you know, you can hope and pray, and those strategies don't work. And like Ron's graph showed, an 18% return over 12 months compared to 89, well, you know what, fire your banker. That's the way to go, because that's what they did with your money. So it's not a question about work, it's not a question of effort, it's a question of, where do you want to be? Do you want to be in the 99% that consistently gets what the market will throw at you, up, down, sideways, doesn't matter? Or do you want to be in the 1% where the banks sit that are consistently making 80% returns on their capital? So those are the decisions that most people need to take. It's not a question of, well, it's too much work. Well, if it's too much work, then be happy with that 12% or that 18% a year. You know, the amount of effort that it took for me to learn how to trade options profitably and have a full-time job wasn't a lot. It was about believing the data. So if you can believe the data, understand the strategy and apply it, you'll get the results. And you know, when you look at the actual effort required on managing the Pro and Pro X accounts, it's about doing your homework before you do the trade. We don't sit there, make mistakes, and then try and fix them during the week. We actually do the homework before we place the trade. There's a trade strategy put out. We know exactly what we're going to do, whether the stock goes up 5% or down 10%. We know exactly what the rules are, and we play by those rules. You know, so we try and eliminate the emotional piece of trading out of the customer's hands, because that's where it's dangerous. You know, customers tend to do some pretty strange things with their own money. So, you know, that's what the advantages of ProX is, that it's a trading strategy and it's the application of the strategy and it's consistently being applied, as opposed to, you know, random, you know, oh, this looks really nice today, or Trump really went and hit the airlines, let's do something there. You can't really behave like that. That's not the way that we work. So, you know, watching how bankers do it and how the banks actually play on their own capital. They have strategy meetings once a week. They have a trade plan for the week. They play those trades out every single week. That's how they do it. And that's what we try.
So now that you've heard from a NASA mathematician, a former banker, and understand you can have them working for you by subscribing to Wall Street Winning, do you have enough information to decide now? So if you could get everything that we've been telling you about in 3 easy steps, would you do it? Great. Here's what it looks like working with Wall Street Winning. Step number 1, you use Wall Street Winning's done-for-you data to find what stocks to buy and what options to sell. Okay, again, this is 100% data and math based, no advice, okay? The algorithms run each night, finding the best opportunities that we present to you on a daily basis. Now, Done For You is available every Sunday for execution on Monday after 10 a.m. So step number 2, you need to follow and take action on the trade setups. Basically, you get to look over the shoulder of Ron and Chris, so over a NASA mathematician, over a former banker, and look at how they do trades. You get alerts, and you get to see how they manage their positions that you can obviously take and use yourself to make a profit. So it's up to you to determine the timing, when you're going to buy, the amounts that you're going to buy, and to execute the trades. Okay, we make it easy, but you have to put in the effort and time. It's not a lot of time. 15 minutes a week, it's more than enough. But just like anything, the more time you put in, the more you'll get out. Okay, so step number 3 is to repeat this process on a weekly basis. That is how you're going to get monthly income for life. And your results should be at least 1% weekly, okay? That's what we're doing all day long, and a lot more with margin, okay? So our published results are a bit higher, because they're based on an experienced trader making 0 mistakes, having the perfect timing, okay? Even so, make the trades. You can still take great weekly income to your account. And then your job is to take it from your capital account and then move it to a separate cash account for best accounting practices, okay? Now, these steps are done for you, okay? But you still need to make the trades. You got to take the action. You have to do it. You have to do it, okay? So you have to have, that one thing that both Tony Robbins, that both Grant Cardone, and both Gary Vaynerchuk were speaking about. You have to have a system. You have to understand where you're at, and you have to have some patience. And along that way, you got to take the action. So, that all seems easy enough, right? Well, it's not. We can give you all the data and the right times to buy the stocks and sell the options, show you our exact trade setups that are provided in the Done For You. But you guys are still going to need to take action, right? So the taking action part is crucial, okay? Now, to solve this problem, you're going to have to take action and less. We do have some higher plans for those of you with over $1 million in your accounts. And I know not everybody here has $1 million. Regardless, you can get an executor if you have over $1 million who can actually do the trade setups for you and help you along with those trades, okay? And those are all based exactly on the data, based exactly on the algorithms, and trade for you, okay? That's the Wall Street Winning Pro X. And we do step number 2. When we go back here to step number 2, follow and take the action. Basically, there's someone that we have a third party that we can bring in for you that will actually execute the trades based on the data provided by Wall Street Winning algorithms, okay? We are in the process, and we're not there yet. We're a couple months away from integrating all of this for every level, so and completely automated where the computer does everything. So we're in the testing phase right now where we're automating things along. So if you have $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, you'll be able to put it in the system and have the computer actually run everything for you, make all your trades for you, based on the algorithms. We're not there yet, so there's a little work on your part still. But like I said, I'm trying to make this for, we designed this for people like my mom and dad. You know, we want to make it easy for you to succeed and to have monthly income for life. So if you don't have the time, experience, or nerves, you know, we can, and it is in the cards that we're going to do all that heavy lifting for you. Okay. Now, the best part of Wall Street winning in any package you're in is that you are always in control of your own money. So unlike your brokers, you know, none of us, you know, whether it's the API and the computer that makes the trades for you, or it's one of our third-party executors, they never can transfer cash out of your account. So it's not like a hedge fund where, you know, the money can disappear or something like this. This is something that you are always in control of. So as a ProX member, your only job is to transfer your profits from your capital account to your cash account on a weekly basis. Okay. So just a note here, the computer runs the algorithm designed by the NASA mathematician to find the stocks that are in the best buy cycle and what options to sell based on the data. So you can experience better than average returns here because we're crunching tons and tons of data. Okay, it's all about the system. It's all about the data. And I know that this is a lot of information so far to digest. You know, I may be turning some of your beliefs upside down, you know, and showing you incredible value and how you can bank, you know, your own money like the banks do. This is, you know, probably new and interesting to a lot of you. So let's move a little bit forward and let me ask you some more questions. Do you own stocks? If you do, put it in the chat box. Tell me what stocks you own. Now, on those stocks, have you ever bought or sold at the wrong time? Okay. Have you ever bought high and sold low? Sure you have. We all have, right? Have you invested in mutual funds? How about annuities? What about bonds? You know, what about ETFs? Or anybody only in stocks only? Just tell me a little bit more about you and where you're at. And, you know, one of the questions is for those of you with a financial planner or a broker or a mutual fund, do you guys like, I mean, really, do you guys dislike, and of course you do, the early withdrawal penalties you have with a typical mutual fund or annuity or something like that? If you need your cash, you're going to have to pay a big fine, right? So I don't really think that those are fair. I mean, I don't think you do either. So, you know, what I think you want, and my question is, do you want and would you like more monthly income? And I believe unanimously, everyone will say in the chat box, yes, 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 yes. So go to the chat box now and put yes if you'd like more monthly income. Okay? And would you like more monthly income without surrendering control of your hard-earned retirement savings? You know, it's a lot of trust when you got to put it in the hands of somebody else. And at Wall Street Winning, we never ask you to do that. So if you'd like complete control of your retirement funds, you know, that's what we do for you. So we can't do a show of hands here, but just in the chat box, if it's either a yes or no. So you guys can put in the amount that you guys have saved, just so I can get an idea where you guys kind of stand and how we can help you. Now, granted, our system works with anything from $50,000 on up. Okay, so if you have $50,000 or more, we can help you. So does anybody here have more than $100,000 in your retirement account? Okay, good. How about $200,000 or more in your retirement account? Okay, and just so you guys know, your house is not a retirement account. Okay, your house probably is one of the worst investments you can ever make. I'm not here to give you investment advice, but your house is not an investment. So let's just get that straight and clear. So take that out of, you know, if you think that that's part of the money you've saved for retirement, you know, forget about that. So we're talking about cash money in your brokerage account or money that you can move into your brokerage account liquid. Does anybody here have 500,000? Now, how about $1 million or more? Anybody? Put a yes in the chat box if you have $1 million or more. Put a yes, 1M, if you have that. Now, anybody here, would you like an extra $10,000 a month income? Would an extra $10,000 a month in income change your life? Put a nice yes in the chat box. Put a nice yes in the chat box if $10,000 a month would change your life. Now, how about $20,000 a month? Would that change your life? You know, for some people, $20,000 isn't a lot of money. For other people, it can change their whole world. Now, how about $30,000 a month? Maybe even $40,000. Now, what about an extra, anybody out there, would an extra $50,000 a month change your life? Well, good. Because it would change everybody's life. I think no matter what, even if it wouldn't change your life, think of all the good things and how many people you could help. You know, as Grant Cardone said in the beginning, it's about getting rich. And when you get rich, go get richer. And it's not about how much money you can make, but how many people you can help. So we're here to show you exactly how to do that. And I just got another question. So do you guys have enough information now to make a decision? Well, great. You know, we average over 1% a week selling done for you options. Okay. That's with around 30% margin. Okay. So it's 1% a week with 30% margin. Okay. So does everybody know what options are? Does everybody know what options are? Okay, great. Now, does everybody understand what we do at Wall Street Winning? We make rich people richer, right? I told you from the beginning. So again, people always ask me, what are we selling? And as I said before, results, right? We sell results. So if we don't produce the results, you do not pay. So now do you understand what we do? You know, simply put, we've assembled a team of experts who have created financial formulas that produce extraordinary results, okay? As I said before, we have a NASA mathematician, a savant computer genius who manages our data, and a former Barclays banker that supervises the execution of our trade and manages our team of executors and automated trading robots, all right? So now you can invest your money just like the banks do. So first up was Ron Groenke. Ron has designed all the algorithms and formulas we use to get above average results in the stock market and options market. Okay, we have a monthly buy and sell. We have a weekly buy and sell. And we have an options mining algorithm. By now, you should know what an algorithm is, right? Well, an algorithm is a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. So we use ours to get an unfair advantage in options investing. You see, 70 to 75% of the time, options expire worthless. We only sell options. And since we're the seller, we win 70 to 75% of the time. Ha ha ha, how great is that? And then when we combine this with the algorithms, we get a win rate of up to 90 to 95, 97%. So that's 95 to 97%. And we have every trade completed going back more than a year. I think we're at 476 days now on record, where each and every trade is verifiable for you. You'll be able to see each and every trade, okay? So in simple terms, think of it like this, like the casino, okay? Who always wins at the casino? Anybody? Put it in the chat box. Who always wins at the casino? The house, right? The house always wins. They win 70 to 80% of the time. Now, in the casino, some people who put $1 in, they hope to win $1 million. And those are the gamblers, right? Now, eventually, if they play enough, they will lose everything to the casino. The casino knows this, okay? Now, we have the same people in the stock market. You know, you may be one of them right now, and we're going to try to help you get out of that. And those are the people buying our options. Those are the gamblers. Now, these gamblers pay us a premium today in hopes to win something at a future date. And like I said, they lose 70+% of the time. That's without our algorithms there, okay? Now, when we turn up and we tighten the machines with our algorithms, like they do at a casino, we win way more, okay? Now, this is where Ron and his formulas are super important, right? They tell us the right time to buy, and they help us get our win rate so unbelievably high. It's over 95%. Okay? So by now, do you guys have enough information? Do you have enough information? Do you have enough information to make a decision? All right. Are you clear on options and what they are? Not everybody knows what options are. So if not, great. Let me explain a bit more. I want you to think of it like this, okay? Let's say we put $1 million of gold in a safe. You see in my office, it's filled with, you'll see if you follow my videos and see our videos, we've got a bunch of, we bought a bank vault out and we got a bunch of gold safes in our, our office, safety deposit boxes. So let's say you put $1 million in that of gold into that safety deposit box, or around 300 gold bars. And then let's say next week, the price of gold goes down 50%. Holy crap, it's a crash. Price of gold goes down 50%. So how many gold bars do we have in that safe, guys? Can anybody answer the question for me? How much gold do we have in that safe if the price of gold goes down by 50%? Answer it in the chat box, in the questions. Answer it there. Well, you still have the same 300 gold bars, right? So what you've understood here is that the prices of stocks and implied value fluctuate. Now, as long as we don't panic, and this is where Gary was talking about patience. You know, most of you, will lose, and the reason why you will lose is simply for the fact that you don't have patience, okay? Patience is the single most key to this strategy and to any investing strategy. It's not getting rich quick. It's not making money overnight. This is investing. So as long as you don't panic and sell lower than you bought, you're in good shape, right? Obviously. So we still have the same amount of shares, or in this case, gold bars, that we started with. Bingo. Now, imagine for a minute that you can get paid money each and every week called premium on the gold in that safe, right? An option premium is the income received by an investor who sells or writes an options contract to another party. This is where it gets good and we start making our money, okay? So in our previous examples, we showed you where we make well over 1% weekly returns over the last year, right? So for this example, where your gold lost 50%, so we're telling you we make 1% weekly. Now, in this example where you lost 50%, how many weeks will it take you to break even at only 1% a week? Well, there's your answer. It's right there. 1 year, right? So at the worst case, if your gold in the safe lost 50% of its value and you're making 1% a week in income, your break even is a year. Okay, so in less than a year, you're at break even if your stock lost 50%. Now, the good news is usually, historically, stocks don't lose 50%. And even when they do, given enough time, and the fact that we only invest in sound fundamental companies, so we're not taking risky, penny stock BS here. These are sound fundamental companies. Amazon, Apple, IBM, Boeing, BA, all GE, good sound fundamental companies that are going to last. Now, when it got back to the price you bought it at, so you bought it and then it goes back up 50% and you made 1% for 50 weeks. Now you just made a 50% gain. Okay, so now hopefully you get, how great options are. Hope you can see that, okay? So how many people here would like to make a 50% profit and return on your money each and every year? And double your money every 2 years? Anybody here? In the chat box, if you'd like to make a 50% profit and double your money every 2 years, okay? Let me know. Put a yes in the chat box right now. Because in a nutshell, that's exactly how our system works. As Tony Robbins told you, what is crucial, the takeaway, the money, is having a system that works, okay? So by now, have you seen enough information to make a decision? I'm sure you're wondering how much it costs, right? Well, It's very, very simple, okay? We have a basic, a plus, a pro, and a Pro X. There's a monthly price for data only. Now, this is where you do it yourself. You can go in and find the stocks yourself. Then there's another price, a monthly price, for the done for you. If you want the done for you model portfolios, there's the price. You can see the potential monthly return. So a $200 investment, $300 investment in the basic, $300 investment in the, or $1,500 investment in the plus. $200 gets you 17 with 50,000. 1,500 will get you 54 with 150. 10,000 will get you 37 with $1 million. 15,000 will get you 59 with $1 million. And of course, those numbers do take into consideration some margin, because we do have a safe use of margin and full utilization on the accounts. Okay, we'll get into that once we get you into the course. That's a whole nother lesson and a whole nother chapter. Okay, I'm just here to tell you the basics today. So we have 4 plans. The first is the basic. Okay, we got the basic, do it yourself, or the basic done for you. Now this is for you, for those of you with $100,000 and less. With the done for you, you get the done for you and the monthly algorithm only. And you get one, those for you with the done for you will get 1 done for you trade per week. So that's 4 per month. Okay, that's more than enough if you got 100K, okay, or less. Now, for those of you with a bit more, 100K to 400K, we have the plus package. We have a do-it-yourself and a done for you. Okay, either one, 2 different price points. Okay, now with the done for you, you get to see Ron's exact trades. That's Ron, the NASA mathematician who's been living on nothing other. His only income for life is this exact algorithm. Okay, so you get to see exactly what he does and how he does it. It's very simple. Just copy and go, make the trades, make your money. Okay, you get to look over his shoulders and you see 3 trades per week. Now this is the most popular plan at $1,500 a month. Okay, so now for those of you with a bit more cash, 500 and above, we have 2 totally different packages, the Pro and the Pro X. Now this is where it's the millionaire's holy grail, because these packages, the computer manages them to $1 million. So the goal is to always maintain $1 million in your call value accounts and just throw off the monthly income, averaging around $10,000 a week with no margin. And I believe it's up to $11,000 or $12,000 a week with 30% margin. We can get into those numbers in a little bit. But the Pro X is the millionaire's holy grail, because your only job is to actually take the money to the bank. So remember, I mentioned that we had a former Barclays banker, Chris Hood. Now he was in charge of making the bank's money back in the day. And now his main job is to supervise the trade execution timing for you on the data provided by Ron's formulas on a daily basis. So who here now has enough information to make a decision? If you do, tell me what you think you're qualified for. Put it in the questions. Which one are you? Are you qualified for the basic? Are you qualified for the plus? Are you qualified for the pro? Or are you qualified for the Pro X? Tell me which one you're qualified for. Okay? Now, are you ready to make that decision? Are you ready to go? Well, for those of you who are not ready to make a decision, I have a bit more info for you. Okay? Those of you are, just tell me which type you are. Now, you guys all know Uber, right? I'm sure many of you have used Uber or Lyft. If you had a few too many to drink. Me, thankfully, I haven't drank in a long time since I learned my lesson from the bar days. But those of you who still do, take an Uber. So anyways, the taxi companies, they're a lot like your local bank or a mutual fund or a financial planner. They have a very old model and it doesn't work anymore. They have bad service. Taxi cabs have, stinky cars with people that really, don't really care much about their job and barely speak English, and at one time they paid them horribly and had horrible service. And And they thought, and overcharged, took you around the block and overcharged you. And they thought they were unstoppable, much like your bank. You know, but nowadays, technology combined with better service and value cannot be stopped. Okay, just like Uber. They couldn't be stopped. And Wall Street Winning is this Uber of investing. Okay? For one, we have no long-term contract. You know, if we don't make you money, we don't deserve yours. In the Pro X, if you do not make $100,000 in 100 days, your next 100 days is free. Okay? That's our guarantee to you. Okay? Now, there's no penalties if you stop using the system. Okay? The only penalty is you're not going to make 1% plus weekly. You're only going to penalize yourself. Okay? Now, also, the other penalty is, you know, if you stop working with us, we're probably not going to work with you again in the future. But that's a whole different story. So the second thing that makes us the Uber of finance is that the old taxi cab companies, like the hedge funds and mutual funds or even your local broker, you know, they want you to give up control of your money, right? And we never want you to do that at Wall Street Winning. We want you to have full control. So with ProX, we simply use our technology and our data. We're just a data publishing company that gives you the data and publishes a result. Now, if you like that data and you like that result, you authorize, you know, the executor, or in the fact now that we're moving towards automation in the next few months, when things are fully automated, you'll authorize the automation, the computer, to actually execute those trades for you. And remember when I said we never touch your money? You know, your only job as a ProX user is to transfer your weekly income out of your capital account to your cash account. So I don't want you guys to take my word for it. Let's see some results and hear from some clients.
And you are a ProX customer, is that correct?
I am indeed.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose to go ProX?
Well, I had the benefit of having gone to some of Ron Groenke's lectures and seminars years ago, and somehow I came across the fact that he was back in the business with he was always been in the business, I suppose, but I had been away from him for some time, being busy and so forth, retiring from my practice and so on. So when I found out that he had this new Wall Street Winning program, I started exploring it. And in exploring it, I found about ProX, and that fits its ability to be able to turn nice profits for me in a business I reasonably well understand at a time when I no longer want to do the amount of effort that it takes to do it on your own. Caused me to select to come back and regain my relationship with Ron. And
is there any upside to it? So if you could recommend it to anybody else, are you telling your friends? Are you telling your family? Are you telling other people that they should do it?
I already have recommended to one of my oldest friends that he explore Wall Street Winning with Ron and with you, Adam, and he's in the process of doing that. Over a period of time, I'll be exploring it with other folks, even my own family.
Super. Now, you also said that, well, your wife also has said that in your past you spend a lot of time behind the computer. So now that you have a little bit more time to save, and you're going to have a little more, let's say, monthly income where you don't have to think about it as much, and your investments are working for you, what are you going to do with your free time?
Oh, more golf.
More golf? Nice.
When we're in Maine, we spend a lot of time riding our trails and so forth. We have a farm up there, and so I'll be more than able to use the time. Also, former sailors, we do a good deal of booking.
Nice. I have two more questions for you. The first one is about Lynn. So you specifically brought Lynn here to speak to us.
Yes.
And to meet us, which is really great. And you're planning for, let's say, look out for your wife's best interest. Now, options investing specifically, I mean, you know what we do, you know our strategy. Why did you pick that in particular, and why did you find that that's your choice to leave your legacy and to continue it?
Well, I like to be diversified. In the option business, I understand it. I understand it's, from my experience with it, it's been pretty predictable for me. It does take a little bit too much of my time to do it now. But being diversified into that business, at the same time we have other investments that are totally and completely divorced from the option business, more in real estate lending and so forth, is a good way to make sure that she has a continuing good income no matter what happens to me and no matter what happens to other markets.
Okay, so that was one of our great customers that is in the Pro X package. And here's some results that I took from the website actually yesterday in preparation for this webinar. So as I said, we have a basic and a plus plan. So these are the actual real results. We keep every single trade open, every single trade completed that you can see and have a look. So we do have a 98% win rate in the basic, a 97% win rate in the plus. The average, weekly average is 1.47 for the basic, 1.44 for the plus. Last week returned 2.73%. So who wouldn't want 2.73%? On a $150,000 investment, who couldn't use an extra $12,000 a month, right? So that is all wonderful. Those are all the exact numbers from the exact trades that you can go in and verify at any time as a subscriber to Wall Street Winning. Now, here's the Pro and the Pro X results. So things get a little better as we go up. Now, we do have a Pro 30, a Pro 60, a Pro 90, a Pro 100. So last week, our income was a little bit lower than normal. We took some cash to the capital account, and we reserved some because there was a little bit, we're not seeing much volatility, and our premiums are a little bit lower. Regardless, we have an average in the Pro with no margin of $9,333. The Pro 30 is $11,000, so $900, so $12,000, and the Pro 60, almost $15,000 per week. Okay, that's per week on $1 million. So, it's those are the results. Those are what you get. Those are what you see in your account. And if you want those results, just get started. That's all I can really say to you is get started. So, we have a very limited amount of space, especially with the Pro X. When we get 100 clients, we're not going to accept any more. We have over 10 and under 20 in there right now. When we get over to 100, there will be no exceptions in the Pro X package. So what I'm offering you today as your bonus and what I'm here to give you, for those of you who want to go Pro X, want to go Pro, want to go basic, want to go plus. So if you want to just start making a little monthly income, or if you want to start making a lot of monthly income, I'm offering you our free course, okay? This is our 7-week course. It is called the 7 Pillars to Make Monthly Income for Life, okay? Now you can retire years earlier with more than enough, okay? That's the 7 Pillars of Monthly Income for Life. Now this is available at wallstreetwinning.com. So you can just go to that right up here in the wallstreetwinning.com. There's no extra backslash. You can click on the free course. Okay, we set it up for you today. You do have to apply for data. So you do have to buy data if you want the free course, okay? So it's a free course, but you do have to apply data. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense for you to learn anything if you don't have access to the data. So the free course is there for you. It's 7 weeks. I can promise you it's going to change your life. It's changed mine. And, you know, that's my presentation. So hopefully, I think, you know, we provided you some value. I want to show you a little bit about the website. Hopefully you guys can see it right here. This is live right now. So those are the real numbers that we have. Like I said, these are the trades that we have open currently. So all the trades are always published, what we have open. All the trades completed are also published. So in your data, you will be getting every trade open, every trade completed. You know, they're not all winners. Like I said, we only have a 95 to 97% win rate. Here's a loser right here, $2,500. But we have a lot of green. And the key to any good strategy is winning more than you lose. And that's what we do here at Wall Street Winning. That's the main thing. So if you'd like access to this, you can go over to our main website, www.wallstreetwinning.com. Okay, and this is our website. You can click right here on the free course to get into our course.
You will be able to.
Okay, so that's my presentation. I hope it's been wildly helpful to you and wildly informational. I hope you've been entertained a little bit. Hopefully you've learned something. And you know, that's pretty much what I got for you. So Dan, I'm getting close to my time here. I guess if there's any questions, we can open up for questions if anybody has any questions. So somebody asked if we still provide the plus at $299 per month. Yeah, the plus is still $299 per month. The plus done for you is in the process. It's $1,500 per month. That's going to be raised shortly. So those of you who are on it are still on it, but things will be changing. All right, guys. So Dan, are you there? Can you hear me, Dan?
I'm here.
Okay, Dan. How did you like the presentation? Was it all right?
I think one of the questions that came up earlier was regarding whether or not you do more training as far as, you know, on the do-it-yourself side and how that works.
Yeah, that's why we're offering the 7-week course. So that is the full training. So whether we do it for you or we do it yourself, the training is there because we want you to know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So we have hours and hours and hours of video training that we put you through. You actually get your own personal coach. So Monty and Tommy that you saw in the video are actually your personal success coaches, and you're going to meet with them 2 to 3 times before the completion of the course. They're going to go over everything and keep you accountable to make sure that you're actually taking the steps and taking action and actually doing the trades. Because like I said, the biggest thing to any of this stuff is taking the action. So sometimes for me, you know, I go to the gym and I like to stay fit, but sometimes it helps me to have somebody pushing me and say, Adam, just do one more rep or do one more push-up or do one more sit-up. And it's the same thing with our investing. You know, we can find 100 excuses why not to do something. So we provide, you know, a full course as well as coaching to really walk you through every step of the process to make sure that you're successful.